Today's sponsor is Loot Crate. For less than $20 a month, Loot Crate gives the geek in you a special treat every month. Loot Crate is a subscription box service with more than $40 worth of geek, gamer, and pop culture gear, collectibles, apparel, comics, etc. delivered to your mailbox every month. This month, they're bringing you a fight for the ages. Suit up, choose your allies, and enter the arena for combat. They're ready to stand their ground this month with exclusive items from Blizzard, Fallout 4, Capcom, sponsor-worthy loot from the Hunger Games, as well as a few more items that will help their winners emerge victorious. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, Jack, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. Colin.
Yes.
What's your topic?
Okay, so I have an interesting one. And we've talked about religion and God and all this stuff. That's not what I want to talk about today, unless that's where we end up going. You know, who the hell knows where we go? But I want to talk about heaven and hell. I've recently been talking to a friend of mine about all sorts of different subjects, and one of the things she and I...
Mike Pope, damn it.
No, not Mike Pope. One of the things that she and I were talking about, she likes kind of serious conversations. We've known each other for a long time, and we've talked about some serious things.
Kind of serious conversations. Ooh.
But just in topics, I mean, there's an array of topics. And one of the things she and I had talked about that really resonated with me and kind of gave me pause, like, you know, just in my, you know, going about my business is, what is so bad about what I said?
No. But you said kind of gave me pause, and Greg.
I looked at my hands. If they
It's
turn
way funnier to me than it should have been, but it was.
Moron.
You two share brain sometimes, I swear to God.
So one of the things she and I were talking about that just, you know, I was just thinking about after the fact was the idea of heaven and hell. And, you know, she and I are not religious people, so we don't really believe in the dynamic of these places, but a lot of people do. And I was kind of curious about not necessarily where you stand now with your religion or anything. That's kind of your business, and it's not really the topic. Do you think you will go to heaven or you will go to hell if you die and maybe they exist? Let's say they exist. And, like, what is your mental criteria? Like, because everyone has their criteria, right? Everyone has, like, their excuse and their scapegoat of, like, oh, I'll go to heaven because, you know, even though I did blah, 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 I'm going to go to heaven. Because that is personally my personal mentality. We talked about that on the show before, that I just don't believe that, even though I'm not a believer, that if I went to the gates, that they look at my record or whatever and be like, well, you lived a bad life. It's like, I've been a good person. I think I've done the right thing way more often than I haven't. Mm-hmm. You know, those without sin, or, you know, they don't exist. So so I'm just curious, like, what your guys' like mental criteria is. Like, how do you think about the afterlife and where you're going to go? And do you think you'll go to heaven?
I'd get in.
Well, you'd figure out a way in.
That's my thing. Is like, do I deserve to get in?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Like, I know that for a fact, which that alone proves that I shouldn't be able to.
Why wouldn't you get into heaven?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I don't.
You're a shoo-in for heaven.
No, my ideas of what heaven is way, way, way above me. I think that there's, if real talk, if like heaven and hell were what we think they are, there's like 3 people total getting into heaven. Like, everyone else is fucked. Mm-hmm. But I'll get in there. It's like Club 33 at Disney. Like, one day I'll find my way in. Mm-hmm. And the thing with that is, all you got to do, it's the Mike treatment. You just got to go get Mike. You can get in anywhere by telling them to go get Mike. You walk up and they're like, who are you? I'm like, no, go get Mike. Go get Mike. Mike, I'm with Mike. Mm-hmm. I'm with Mike. There's always a Mike. Mike might not be working that day. Mm-hmm. Mike might be there. And if Mike comes, you just fucking act like you know Mike. Mike will be confused. You know how many people Mike knows? Mike knows everybody. You'll get in.
Didn't John Travolta play Michael?
He did in the movie Michael. He brought a dog back to life, and Joey Lauren Adams fucked him.
Would you be crazy if John Travolta
Not the dog.
up?
Sorry, that was bad sentence structure.
Damn.
You fucked the dog. It's great.
Hey, you brought that dog back to life. Go fuck that woman. What?
There's a lot of things going on right now.
Michael, though, yeah. He smelled different to everybody. This is also when Andie MacDowell was a leading lady.
Oh, she was awesome. It's like Groundhog's Day time period.
Yes.
Eddie MacDowell?
That's not a good movie.
No.
Andie MacDowell.
Andie deeds for Eddie MacDowell?
Groundhog's Day was a great movie. Michael was not a good movie. Neither was Phenomenon. That was a weird movie. Remember that one? Moving you. That was, I don't know.
Did you see the Anna Kendrick thing? The shower tweets, shower thoughts?
No.
You were
It's
telling
an amazing
me about
video.
that.
One of the deep shower thoughts was they should announce a reboot of Groundhog Day and then just re-release Groundhog Day.
That's awesome.
That would be funny. That's
That was
good.
pretty awesome. I think I deserve to go to heaven because I feel like I'm more of a good person than I am a bad person.
So is that the
But I
qualification?
feel like I wouldn't. And I feel like it would be a very close race. And I can imagine they're bringing lots of archangels in and lots of other people in that are going to kind of look through my history. But I feel like the sticking point would not necessarily be from the hours of when I wake up to like 8 or 9 o'clock. It would probably be the activities post 10 o'clock to like midnight when my wife goes to bed and I look at excessive amounts of porn. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I feel like they would look and be like, he's not hurting anyone. And God would be like, but look at the damage it's done to his soul.
Just look at his search history.
Just who strings these words together to search for this? And why would you watch whatever pops up? You know what I mean?
We can't let him in here.
I've told you the worst thing I've ever searched for when it comes to porn is like I got so tired of searching for all the other crazy things like, you know, well, I'm not going to go too far into it. I don't want to go that far into it. But like the other day I was like, I'm going to type in love and see what comes up.
The craziest thing I ever
The craziest thing I love. Sometimes I type in kissing. And it's twisted, Colin. It's twisted.
Dude, no, those are the best.
But no, I mean, I think to be serious, I feel like everyone does. I think I'd get in. Absolutely, I would get in. I'm a good guy. I'm a good person. I do good stuff. I got a wife. I treat her real good. Real good. I don't break laws. I don't go out of my way to hurt people. I don't really hurt people in general. I try to be good. The more I think about it, the only sticking point is going to be that porn. It's going to be that extraordinary. But I could probably chalk that up to some sort of addiction. I'd be like, look, God, if you had porn at your fingertips, what would you do, bro? And then it would be slow dolly into God's eyes, slow dolly into my eyes. And he'd be like, let him in.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I said let him in.
I feel like there'd be a lot of questions about you, Nick. Like there'd be a lot of searching because they'd be like, all the cocaine. You're like, I never did cocaine. Never once did cocaine.
But they'd be like, but you talked about it
use
so often.
so
Do you
much.
know how many people did cocaine because they heard about it from you?
I would actually want to know that number. I'd be like, what is that number?
This is one of those things where St.
Fascinated
Peter
by
wouldn't be
it.
able to handle it himself. That like they would call God in. You'd have to get put on a side list and then have to go to an appointment where God's at the appointment so they can really go through your record.
And they'd go through. And
It's
they'd be like-
complicated.
I felt at the end of the day, though, I'd be charming enough. So they'd be like, this guy's kind of, let's let him in. He's fun at a party.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine
Let's
you.
let it in.
That's the thing is you give yourself not enough credit when it comes to like getting into shit. I feel like you can get into pretty much anything just because within 2 minutes of talking to somebody, you go from creepy to charming to like the person questioning if they want to leave the person that they're with.
Wow.
And then it goes creepy again for a second. But
Yeah,
then it does come back out and you're like, man, this guy's really cool.
You always have to have a sense of danger when you're talking to the opposite sex.
I wasn't talking about the
I go
opposite
crazy
sex.
into creepy sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we'd all get in.
Yeah.
We would.
Without a doubt, we'd
Portillo
all
would
get
too.
in. Oh, Portillo, he'll meet us there.
So, I
Little
mean, like,
wings. He got little wings,
who do we know
little angel
wouldn't
wings.
get in?
I like nobody.
Kevin.
You don't know anybody.
We don't know anyone that wouldn't get in.
No.
Really?
I
Yeah.
do, but I
Does
I
everyone just fucking gets
Do you know
in?
any murderers?
So only murderers go to hell.
I mean, like, it's
I think
such
we
a
just don't
binary, weird thing. Do we really believe in that version of heaven and hell?
Well, so I mean, what's the point? It's like if the question is, are we getting in? And there's like not really any question of if we are or not.
I can think of a couple
I think
people.
you only know good people, though, is what I'm
I
saying.
don't know, man.
I can think of a couple people I've met that I'm like, you're not getting in.
You're going
I think you guys are missing the I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's just my interpretation, but I think intent is a really big part of it in my mind. Like, what is your intent? The power of intention, as Wayne Dyer used to say, who was like a motivational speaker that I like.
He also did hockey.
No, he didn't do hockey. Wayne Dyer didn't do hockey.
That was Wayne Gretzky.
You're right.
But so I think that's it. It's like it like really is like I do think that people have like what is in your heart, like what is your intent, like how do you carry yourself, what do you do? Everyone has their fucking terrible moments, and everyone has their things that they would take back, or the things they wish they didn't say, or the things they wish they didn't do. And I really believe that really can go from like the best person in the world, like on the outside, to someone in prison. Like I think that can span the gamut from like,
Sure.
you know, I think that there are people walking around Wall Street right now with hearts of darkness. I think that there are people in prison for 30-year sentences for assault or whatever, assault and battery, or whatever, 20 years that have good hearts.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that
Just made
like
a mistake.
exactly. I'm not saying that if you murder or rape or something that's something you should be forgiven for, because I don't believe that that's the case. But I do think that there's intention is really important. Like how you carry yourself and how you treat other people, I think is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we all treat people in different ways sometimes. I remember just as an example, I hate cabs, and I remember getting into a cab like a year or so ago, and I'm sick of them, and I get into a cab at SFO. I'm back from like a business trip, and I get in, and I'm like, I need to go to my address, and he's like, or like the area I'm going to, like we always say, and he's like, all right, like, and the guy's like, Johnny's like, all right, do you have an address? And I'm like, dude, do you not know where the fuck? Like, I literally was like, cause I'm just so terrible. I'm sick, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you drive a cab and you don't know like how to get to this place. And he's like, I just want to put it in the thing, like, and like just kind of turn it around or whatever. And I was like, shit, sorry, like that was totally uncalled for. I didn't mean to talk to you like that.
You're going to hell.
But but the point is that like there are
the
people.
cabbie said it and then he flipped the cab.
But the point is that there are people out there that talk to people like that all the time and don't care. Whenever I like know I'm rubbing someone the wrong way, or like not with what I'm saying but how I'm saying something, then that's something I try to correct, because I just think it's about how you treat other people. That's most important. It's the please and thank you culture. It's all that kind of stuff. Like I think that in my heart, even though we've all done bad things, like for sure. Like everyone has done something that's bad. But it's a matter of like what is in your heart and the nature of you, not to be like too reductive, but like the content of your character. I think that's really important. We all have
balance, right? How far toward good do you have to be percentage wise?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So if it's like
can
heaven,
I be
hell,
50-50?
Is it a 50-50, or is it like you need to be 80% good to go into heaven?
I would say more good than bad. I would imagine by a wide margin.
This is where I think the whole Catholic purgatory argument comes in too. If
I'm not going to purgatory, it's either heaven or hell.
I don't have
time and space for purgatory.
I don't believe purgatory even exists.
You're just gonna turn them down. You're like, listen, just flip a coin. I gotta go somewhere. I'm not sitting here with all these unbaptized babies.
It's just
the
again,
noise.
Going back to the conversation I had with my friend, the conversation she and I had. It's just an interesting conversation in the sense that I don't really believe either of these places exist. The sad thing, the scary thing about dying for me, and I am scared to die, not like the act of dying, but the feeling of being gone, because I really do believe it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary thing for it to shut off. One day you will shut off.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what is that?
Nothing.
And
nothing. You got nothing.
So that's a scary thing. And so these things make you feel better. It makes you feel like it philosophically makes you feel like you have control. And that was
Sure.
And so when you look at things like Calvinism, which is a sect of Protestantism, that showed you that the idea of Calvinism was predestination, that you had no control, that everything was predestined. Every decision you made was already written, and it's already conceived whether you're going to go to heaven or hell before you're even born. And so the thought of even like saying like, oh, but my mind's saying to go left, so I'm going to go right today to prove it. It's like, no, they
knew you were going to have that argument and do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's a powerless position to be. That's why I like Calvinism. To me is like I respect all religions, all sects of Christianity, whatever. But that was always a really powerless place to me, and so that's why I think people like look forward to having some sort of control over the situation. The other side of it, of course, is like the idea of Catholic indulgences and stuff like that, like the idea that you can buy yourself into heaven, which was what caught one of the things that drove Luther to nail the thesis to the door of the church. Anyway, so I don't know. I just find it a fascinating philosophical conversation about the different criteria we have. And we've already shown by the four of us talking about it that the criteria is not set in stone. The criteria is not even really set in stone in the Bible. So it's just interesting.
How do you come down on the argument? Not even argument, theory or whatever you want to say, that the kingdom of heaven is here on earth right now?
No, I don't buy that. I mean, to me, that's ridiculous considering the war and the pestilence and the famine. And
not for you.
I got in.
Not for me, but for everyone around us. I mean, look what we were talking. Colin Moriarty Live. We talked about the Syrian refugees.
Right.
That's just a great example of like a war torn. Like that goes back, and we can get into that later about why I don't think God exists, because I just can't imagine a situation where it's just like let it play, like just roll the dice and see how it plays out, and you just sit there and let this shit happen to just innocent people. Like that's my major problem with religion. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But that's always the problem. Whenever we bring up this topic, this is what we always get to, is that I think you have trouble separating in your arguments God from religion. Because what if God created this big bang and walked away, and he's not this thing we think about or do or have anything to do? That's what I was talking about. I feel like I see the influence of God every day, every moment of my life. This divine inspiration. Yeah. The light on Tim's face right now. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? I can't imagine there wasn't some divine hand in getting us to that point, to this thing. Not taking away man's ingenuity, the creation of the light bulb. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying God is like, let's fucking make a light today. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, I don't know if he needs to be there guiding every step of the way. I think indulgences are bullshit, clearly. Predestination, I don't agree with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's there nudging things into the way as much as maybe this happened and that's it. You know what I mean? And then that was his or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, the passive God you're discussing is like more of a deist God, which is like what a lot of the founders were. That's like what a lot of Enlightenment thinkers believed, which is that God created and turned his back on everything. I mean, in a nutshell. But I mean, it's
hard for me to rectify that. It's hard because I feel like going back to another point you made, which is it's comforting. The whole thing is comforting.
Oh yeah.
But the danger with that is when you say that there's something after life, when there's, you can die, but there's something beyond that, it puts less importance on kind of what you accomplish in this life. And that's the biggest problem I've always had with it, right? Where people are like, well, if I live a good life and do everything I'm supposed to do, I'll be rewarded in the afterlife. And I'm like, I'd like to be rewarded now. I'm not going to make that bet. Because I feel like all of your decisions are way more important if you know that at the end of that road, it's lights out. That's it, right? And suddenly your life becomes very important. You might only have 20 years left. What are you going to do with that? Or you might go to heaven and you have an eternity of whatever. So just,
But that's the whole thing.
See the difference in importance.
A great man did once say, YOLO.
It is YOLO.
He did say that.
Yeah, Justin Bieber. And that's back to your point. That's what I'm when we're talking about the 20s. That's what I'm learning now in my mind slowly, just like really more recently over the past few months is just I have got to take control. Like time is finite.
Yeah.
Any of us can die tomorrow.
I don't know if it's a matter of control necessarily, because you and I both we're smart enough to realize you never really have control. Like we could have the best life possible and a fucking tsunami could come just wipe us out like that. We can't do anything about it. But I think what you're more referring to is you've got to take sort of a more, well, you're a pretty proactive guy in general, but I feel like you and I think all of us could probably, we feel that urgency, right? Where as we get older and we start accomplishing things in our 30s or, early 20s, whatever the fuck Tim is still, or infancy, you start to feel like, well, I've gotten just a little bit. Fuck, I should get more. I should accomplish more. I'm capable of more, and I'm not living up to that. And that there becomes that sort of that need to keep up and then surpass where you were before. I feel it every day. I feel like every day I go home and I'm like, I could do more today. I could accomplish more. I have the capability to do these great, wonderful things. We've proven that. We've made this thing together. Now we can do more. Can I do more? And that's my biggest fear, is that I won't accomplish the things that I want to accomplish before I die. That's it. That's my biggest fear in life, and I do have that fear every day. I don't know. Is that kind of, do you vibe with that, or are you thinking more like,
well, I think what you're talking about, I think is more like agency over your life, like the idea that you can control these aspects of your life that you can control, you should. Yeah, we cannot control the meteor that's going to fucking crash into Earth one day and kill us all or something.
Or the moon just leaving.
Right, or the moon leaving, and maybe something happens, and maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. My biggest thing is you control how you react to it. I think that is what life is. It's knowing that you don't have control of what's happening, but things happen, and how you handle it is what makes you who you are and your life. So
yeah, that's true. I think what I'm realizing now is that I was more, I guess what the core of the issue for me, and this goes back to the previous topic, is I was way more comfortable wasting lots of time when I thought I had lots of time.
Yeah.
And now that I get older, I know it's like a fucking morbid, we're not fucking cavemen that die at 27 years old anymore. Like our average, age is, by the time we get older, we're all going to probably live to be well over 100 as long as things like go the way that they're going. I mean, that's obvious. And what that means for the future of this planet and the future of our society is probably bad, actually. But I realized when I was 20 years old, I had no problem, getting crazy with my friends and wasting time and just going to class and just meandering through my life. And then when I was 25, I had no problem putting my 9 to 5 in and working really hard, and then drinking with my friends and just watching TV shows and whatever the things that keep you happy and make your life pleasant. But then when I now that I'm 31, which I feel like is it's been a weird paradigm shift in my life, where this is the first age where I'm like, fuck, like I'm old, and I'm not trying to be like melodramatic. I am old. I mean, it's just I'm not very old. I'm not fucking 70 years old. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm old.
Like if if there was a high school kid here, they would be like, why am I at a fucking AARP meeting?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And now that I'm 31, I'm like, time is more precious, and like what is my intention to make my life better now?
You were 30-year-olds when you were in high school?
Yes.
You know how fucking old they were? You were like, you're so old. Like, do you need something? Can I get you some juice, Grandpa?
When I went to college, my brother was a year and a half younger than I am now.
Fuck,
and I remember looking at, he was so cool. He's still cool in my mind. He's in his 40s now, and he's like still the fucking coolest thing to me. But it's like, I just don't want to get to this point where we can reflect and still change things. Eventually, we have to come to terms with the fact that we are going to get to a point where we reflect and we can't change anything anymore. And I don't want to get to that point because you're locked in, you have a family or kids, you have a fucking, all these things. Like the more you lose that agency, the more you're unable to shake things up. So shake them up while you can.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of where I'm at right now. My mind. I'm like, I've been very deep in my mind lately with this kind of shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about heaven or hell or death in forever. Live it. Just live it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were saying. We were kidding around, but the Bon Jovi line that you remember we were.
It's my life. It's now.
And he says,
or
what does he say?
I ain't gonna live forever.
And I just want to live while I'm alive. That's the line, I think. And I remember you turning around and you're like, but for real, that's a deep line. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It is a deep line. So let's live by it. Let's live by Bon Jovi.
Don't worry about your tsunamis. You'll be fine. Keep living your good life.
Coastal California is going to be all fucked up.
Not while we're here. We're fine.
You ever think about that, by the way? Because I think about that sometimes. We've all had, just for real talk, because you guys have lived here forever and you felt bigger earthquakes than we have. But I felt my fair share of earthquakes in 8 years here. Some more violent than others, but nothing like out of control. Nothing like the Loma Prieta or whatever like that, or even, the 1906 one. But sometimes I sit in bed and I'm like, it could happen right now. Like there's nothing we can do about it.
I'm gonna sleep so well tonight with that.
He says
thought
it with
in my
a
head.
smile. I love Colin so much.
Because Colin wants to sit back secretly
right now.
and not so
It could be
secretly, wants to sit back and just watch the world burn. He just does. And then he wants to get his rifle and go hunt some commies. And that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, the fall of the Soviet Union was like the saddest thing that ever happened to me at 7 years old.
Jesus.
That's so fucked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that topic was brought to you by Loot Crate. Would you classify yourself as a geek, gamer, or pop culture nerd? Then Loot Crate is a subscription box for you. Loot Crate is a subscription box service with more than $40 worth of geek, gamer, and pop culture gear, collectibles, apparel, comics, etc. delivered to your mailbox every month. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code kindafunny to save $3 on any new subscription. This month, they're bringing you a fight for the ages. Suit up, choose your allies, and enter the arena for combat. They're ready to stand their ground this month with exclusive items from Blizzard, Fallout 4, Capcom, sponsor-worthy loot from the Hunger Games, as well as a few more items that will help their winners emerge victorious. You're a winner. You already emerged victorious. But I'm not insulting the copy. Whether you're risking your life in battle or taking no prisoners in the wasteland, our loot will be at your side to help keep things interesting. Basically, Loot Crate is like a friend that knows you and loves you and surprises you with an awesome present every month. Did we mention they shipped over 13 countries too? You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, Jack, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. Thank you, Loot Crate. And of course, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening and or watching this episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each and every week, the Game Over Greggy Show is 4, sometimes 5 best friends around this table, each bringing a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to kindafunny.com where you can get to all the YouTube channels and subscribe. You can support us on Patreon where you get episodes early. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny where we post every episode day by day, topic by topic, until we post the entire things for free as a video and MP3. What's wrong?
Well, 1, Kevin's trying to kick Patel in the face, and 2, Colin said, and I quote, "The fall of the former Soviet Union was the worst day of my life."
7-year-old. Worst thing to happen is a 7-year-old. Yeah. But the tsunami hasn't happened yet because we're all good people and we live good lives. Heaven on earth.
It's true, though. In the
Heaven on earth.
80s, we had the villain. We had the enemy, and now...
And we let it go. We beat him up too
That's
bad.
why we use these
We
Nazis
killed
all
what
the
we
time
got.
now and everything we do.
Well,
Tired of us Nazis. Until next time, it's been our pleasure, sir.